Good morning, man. I want to give us something to think about. Please personally consider the following statistics as I go through this. Think about it for your own perspective from you personally, and then we'll talk about what this means at the end. So, first, beginning on December 11th, 2023, through July 23rd of this past summer, there was 72 Calvert Strength Performance training days. Okay, so in those 72 training days, those training days encompassed 177 training hours. Those 177 hours of training consisted of 3,456 exercise sets. Think about that. So over the duration of the 9 months that we trained, there were 3,456 exercise sets. Now, from the start of the season, August 14th, to now, October 23rd, there has been 49 practices for the Blue Squad. At the end of the practice, we condition, and there have been 260 conditioning reps. Those 260 conditioning reps have covered 13,144 yards. That's the number of yards that we've used just for conditioning at the end of practices. That's our gassers, that's our full field sprints, that's our 40s. That's the number of yards that we've covered. So here's the big thing, the catch-all thing we want to think about. Ask yourself personally, honestly, this question. Did you perform all 3,456 sets through our CSP program over the last 9 months at the highest level you could possibly provide? Did you complete them all? Think about it. You, person. Just think about yourself. Let's analyze ourselves. Let's have some humility here and let's analyze ourselves. Next, did you run all 13,144 conditioning reps to your fullest effort and to the fullest length required? Or did you maybe cheat one? Or did you maybe take one out because you were a little tired or fatigued or hurt? Or did you not do it at all because you weren't at practice or you weren't dressed? Just think about it. Just think about it for a second. All these things are transactions. If we focus on only transactional outcomes, which is found in a scoreboard, which is found in the amount of money we make, which is found in a lot of things that the world would tell you right now are the most important things that we have, then to remotely provide the best chance of success, you must provide the highest number of deposits into those transactional opportunities. The greater the investment, the greater chances we have at reaching our transactional goals. So going back to what we talked about, if you want to guarantee that you are champions on Friday night on a transactional level, that you have the best score, then you personally would need to make sure that you put in as many reps as you could in the off season. And on top of that, you would have to push and run every single conditioning yard of those 13,000 to your highest level as well, without missing it. It's a hard task. But that's what you have to do, you personally, if you want to reach that transactional goal of winning on Friday nights. And then, because it's a team, a family, we're going to need as many guys to do that as possible. Sometimes life hits us and we can't make every workout. Sometimes life hits us and we can't necessarily perform every rep. Sometimes life hits us and we can't, and we got to push through it. Either way, we have to understand that if you are putting your mindset on the outcome on the scoreboard only and making that your top priority, then you can't blame others. In your personal effort on that field, when you aren't perfect yourself, when you haven't made all the investments necessary to guarantee that championship. I don't know about you, but I believe we've all fallen short. It's impossible for everyone to run every one of those reps, that 13,000 yards. Impossible for us all to condition and work to the level you should every single day. It's impossible. I'd like to think that is the case, but being sick, missing a practice, I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening when you're injured. You have bottom ankle, bottom knee. Maybe we try, but is it the optimal level in which we can go? Maybe it's the optimal level of that day in the weight room. In my opinion, it should be not too difficult to complete every set and every rep that's required to us in the weight room through the duration of all the workouts over a given year. But reality says that you're going to have a day when you're sick and you won't be there. You missed out. Reality is you might need to take a day because you need a mental health day. Reality is you might not be as strong as you were the day before because you didn't eat well. And you can't get that rep in to your fullest potential. It happens. And you'll generally find that on a transactional level, the guys who provided the best effort over the duration of those 13,000 yards, the best effort over those 3,000 some odd hours in the weight room, the guys that provide the most investments in those transactions are the ones that already understand their value to the team and understand the value of others to the team. And they most of the time have more grace because it takes humility and it takes care, a bigger care than oneself to do those things. They're not running those 13,000 yards of conditioning just because they enjoy doing it necessarily. They do know the benefit of it to them physically. I'm sure they do. And they don't just come to the weight room every day and perform all those sets because the benefit it just gives them. I'm telling you, those people who invest more than others, that don't want to miss the sets, that don't want to miss a rep, that don't want to cheat a rep, is because they don't want to let others down around them. And that moves to the next piece of this. But before I move on to the next piece of this, we can't personally be overly upset at anyone else when we can't say that we have made 100% of the investment necessary to reach our transactional goals. We can't expect perfection from imperfect people, and we wouldn't want an imperfect person judging us too harshly. Now, the next point. Transformational living versus transactional living requires something that may be foreign in sport and in some cases it's foreign in life. The world would say the outcome on the scoreboard is the most important thing. And sometimes you'll talk to people and that's the only thing they can talk about. It's how you did on the scoreboard. What's your record? Sometimes my interactions with people, it's what they want to know and talk about the most. I personally have fallen a victim of this from time to time because it's the way it is the world is wired. And I have to push and work against that, resist it. I tried to be consistent in it, and I believe for the most part, in my heart of hearts, I am. But this season, with our early successes beyond the measure of who we're supposed to be because of our youthfulness and experience and lack of numbers, we've gone through some really tough matchups, and we've been successful on the scoreboard. We've been successful in showing who we really are as a family and as a band of brothers. And it's caused me to focus on those outcomes and continue to push to see those outcomes continue to happen on the scoreboard on Friday nights. And it may have taken away some of my energy from focusing on what the most important priority is, which is meeting the needs of the program's heart. The heart of the program, the heart of you. When we tend to grow the heart of one another, not because of what it does for the scoreboard, but because of what it does to the spirit of our teammates, the scoreboard ends up taking care of itself. We were there, and maybe we have lost focus. Over time, we've gotten enamored by the way it makes us feel when people talk about us doing so well, when we've talked about winning this big game or that big game. And maybe we've gotten full of ourselves, all of us, and we've lacked some of the humility. And we've lost our focus on what's most important. And consequently, when we get out in front of ourselves and we were focusing on this win or that win or this or that, it doesn't quite match up with what our goals and aspirations are on a transactional level. And, we aren't focusing on ourselves, and we're focusing on others. And we're looking at blaming others, imperfect people, for the mistakes, rather than looking at the imperfections of ourselves and how we can grow there. I personally will never measure up to being good enough to reach perfection. I am not a great play caller when you compare me to so many other people. I would say that I'm probably more of a defensive-minded coach than an offensive-minded coach when you look on a transactional level. Sometimes it's hard on the field to make what I believe is the best decision. And when I go back and look at the film and come over the hours of film, I find myself lacking in some moments, and I wish I had that moment back. Doesn't mean I don't try. I've done this for a long time, and I will continue to strive to be the best I can be when it comes to training you guys in the off season, when it comes to pushing you guys to be great in the classroom, when it comes to doing what I need to do as a coach, a leader, the head coach, the offense coordinator, whatever it might be, so we're successful on Friday nights. Because I know without that effort and energy, we're not together. And then I don't get a chance to do what I think is the most important mission that I have, the important calling that we all have, which is to encourage others. I can always do my best. Even when I can't go out there and call a perfect game, even when I've made as many transactions as I possibly can, but I don't reach the mark of perfection, I can always do my best to beat me now. Make it not about me. It's not about me. And try to do my personal best and not blame others when I don't meet my goals, because I regularly will need someone to provide that same love to me and grace in my life when I fall short. I want you guys to think about those things. I want you to understand it. I don't want you to take what I said at the beginning about all those yards and all those reps and use that as the focal point of this message. I think that sometimes you need to understand and know that we all fall short, and we will always fall short. Transactionally, that's what happens. You can make all the investments you want, but you never can make enough to reach that ultimate goal, because there's always going to be some goal that you just can't get to. If you get to every goal you have, then you're not setting those goals high enough. We can't be disappointed to the level in which we blame others and we ostracize our teammates and we treat people unkindly. We have to be able to take a moment, take a deep breath, and pause and reflect internally on what we can do to make this better. When we do that and we take the focus off the scoreboard, you find it's a whole lot easier to do really what's best for the heart and soul of yourself and others. And then again, the scoreboard will take care of itself. And this is my message today. I want you guys to kind of take it in, look at it, think about it before we have our meetings this afternoon and practices with our gold team. I want you to know I love you guys. Again, I'm sorry for being imperfect. I'm sorry for me not being the best I can be at all times. But please know that I'd love for me to go to bed at night knowing my team, my players, my coaches, my school feels good about my interaction with them, that they can never doubt that I really truly do care about you guys. And that to me is more important than any wins, than any losses. Because the heart change that you guys, I'm hoping, experience through our program, the continued reaffirmation of the mission that your parents and your family members and the other people in the world would have for you to be the best version of yourself is really what's most important when you come through Calvert Football. So with that, I love you. Can't wait to see you this afternoon. I'm out. Boom.